Test. Microphone check. Good afternoon. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for showing up to this regular school board meeting on August 13th. Let's go ahead and get this meeting started. Ms. Delgado, can you go ahead and take a roll call, please?
Board President Lira.
Present.
Board Vice President Flores.
Present.
Board Secretary Rodriguez.
Present.
Board Member Guerrero.
Present.
Board Member Medrano.
Present.
Sir President, we have established quorum.
Thank you. And just to advise public, if anyone would like to speak during the open forum, can you go ahead and get a form from Ms. Delgado? That way we can go ahead and give you the space when that time comes. Thank you. Can we all stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among the United Cultures. Thank you. And Board Vice President, Ms. Laura, can you go ahead and read our mission statement, please?
The Gadsden Independent School District will provide diverse educational opportunities that empower students to be successful in an ever-changing world. El Distrito Escolar Independiente de Gadsden brindará diversas oportunidades educativas que capacitarán a los estudiantes para tener éxito en un mundo cambiante.
Thank you. Let's see. Moving on to item 3, Superintendent District Updates and Recognition. Item 3A, National Hispanic Institute, Rocky Mountain, CWS, GISD.
Ms. Villalobos will present this item. President Lira.
Good afternoon, President Lira, members of the board, Superintendent Tarazona. We are very, very, very excited to share with you an amazing summer adventure that our kids had the opportunity to have. That was thanks to the National Hispanic Institute. Our kids had an amazing experience. Ms. Fordy is going to explain a little bit more about it, and just to show how proud we are of our kids here.
Thank you, Ms. Villalobos. Good afternoon, Board President Lida, members of the board, and Superintendent Tarazona. Tonight, I am very proud to recognize 9 GISD students who represented our district this summer at the National Hispanic Institute's Rocky Mountain Collegiate World Series in Denver, Colorado. The Collegiate World Series and NHI's capstone leadership experience for high school juniors preparing to enter their senior year. Through this experience, our students had the opportunity to strengthen their leadership and communication skills, to explore the college admissions process, and connect with the other talented students from across the country. We are incredibly proud of our students for representing Gadsden Independent School District with pride and for challenging themselves to grow as young leaders. I'm also excited to share that through this completion of the experience, Regis University offered our students admission along with $32,000 annual merit scholarship toward their undergraduate education, an incredible opportunity and recognition of their potential. We are very grateful to our Federal Programs Department, especially our Associate Superintendent, Ms. Rosie Villalobos, for funding this opportunity and investing in opportunities that support our students' education, leadership, and future. I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge our school counseling specialist, Ms. Mary Lou Mendoza. She's not able to be with us tonight. whose vision, advocacy, and dedication were instrumental in making this opportunity possible for our students. Ms. Mendoza championed the idea of having our students participate in this event and follow the process from the beginning to the end. With her leadership and commitment, this opportunity may not have come to fruition, and we are truly grateful for her efforts and for always seeking meaningful opportunities for our students. I'd also like to extend a special thank you to Gadsden High School Principal, Ms. Legareta, and Gadsden High School teacher, Mr. Efrain Villalobos, for chaperoning and supporting our students in Denver, Colorado. At this time, I would like to introduce our students and invite them to briefly share about their experience at the Collegiate World Series. Representing Alta Vista Early College High School, we have Angel Abraham Hernandez and Jose Antonio Martinez. From Chaparral High School, we have Jaime Santiago Cervantes, Kenya Solis Villagran, Lily Lynn Stiles Mohammed. From Gadsden High School, representing, we have Brian Duarte, Vivian Lozoya, and Mila Dominique Rose. And from Santa Teresa High School, we have Sienna Katrina Tinker. They have a small presentation for you today, so I'm going to hand it over to them. Thank you.
Good afternoon, President Lira, members of the board, and Superintendent Terraza. To begin, we would like to thank you for funding this opportunity, and we would like to thank Superintendent Terraza and Assistant Superintendent Villalobos for this opportunity and for funding this experience. Next slide, please.
Next slide, please. And next slide, please. CWS gave us something that a classroom alone cannot: the chance to discover who we are when we are challenged, surrounded by people we had never met, and trusted to lead. We learned to think critically, speak with confidence, make decisions together, and see college and our futures with a much bigger perspective. But what made it truly meaningful was experiencing it together. Our group came home with stronger friendships, new confidence, and a sense that opportunities like this are worth investing in. The district didn't just fund a trip, it invested in students who will carry what we learned into our schools, communities, and futures. That is why I hope this opportunity remains available for students who come after us. Next slide, please. For me, CWS also showed me the importance of simply being given the opportunity to try. Not every student gets a chance to travel, experience a college campus, meet students from different places, or challenge themselves in an environment like this. Because our district made it accessible to us, we were able to experience something that many of us may not have had the opportunity to experience otherwise. We left not only with new skills, but with a better understanding of ourselves, our goals, and what we are capable of accomplishing. I hope future students are given that same chance, because sometimes one opportunity is all it takes to change the way a student sees their future.
Next slide, please. Hello, I'll be one of the few people talking about the benefits. Through my NHI experience, I learned that networking is more than just meeting new people. It's about creating genuine connections that last lifetimes. During my experience, I had the opportunity to not only meet college admission officers who guided us through the college application process, but I also had the chance to develop connections with people from across the country, such as New Mexico, Texas, Maine, New York, and the list goes on. I was even able to connect with people from out of the country, such as Mexico, Guatemala, Colombia, and the list still goes on. This has led us to learn about different cultures and experiences. We've met people who helped guide us through this college process, and we've also met people who we can talk to about any concerns or just catch up with. At first, I was nervous about introducing myself and starting conversations at this program, but this experience guided me to become more confident and comfortable in embracing those around me. NHI showed me that every connection can teach you something new and potentially unlock future opportunities.
President Lira, members of the board, Superintendent Tarazona, I would like to tell you about my experience with the college representatives we met here at the NHI CWS. While we were there, we got to get one-on-one experience with college admissions officers. I personally was assigned to the GW University, George Washington University admissions officer, and I've been, due to the fact that we got to go to the CWS, I was able to get an email and a phone number from him, and we've kept in contact since the program a few weeks ago, about a month. And I've actually been talking to him a lot, and I'm pretty certain we've been talking about a scholarship offer from there, and this is all thanks to being able to go to the CWS. And other people were able to get networking opportunities, and as well as just talk to other people. The one-on-one experience, it was amazing. They taught us how to write essays, how to better them for admissions officers. So thank you again.
Hello. Hello all, I am Brian Duarte, and for me the CWS experience was not just a social and networking experience, it was a very big learning experience. And so for me, two of the most important things I learned from there is CEB and IBS. CEB being community equity-based building, community equity building, and IBL input-based learning. And so for CEB, it was more important last year at the LDZ, but still this year, it taught me to think more critically. And I think that's really important as high schoolers and especially as seniors now that we're going to move on to college. It's just important for us to be able to think not just about what could we do, but more on what could we expand. Because I think for us, we always think about things that are low, things we want to build on, but instead with CEB, we think about what we can improve, what we already have that's well, and how we can make that better. And with IBL, that was the second part of the CWS, and that was pretty rigorous for us, and I think it was really important for us to go through that. Now as seniors, we're going to go through harder classes, and then into college, even harder classes, and I think IBL will really help us out with that. And so for the next group of kids that are able to do the CWS next year, it'll be really helpful for them as well.
Hello and good afternoon. I am Antonio Martinez, and I want to talk more about the good stuff that we get from going to CWS. So there's a couple things. For example, there's this fact that over 98% of NHI students actually enroll to college, and a little bit more than 90% of them actually stay inside of college for a 4 to 5 year undergraduate program. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about was the experience you get going out of state, leaving your state, right? Leaving your home and still being proud of who you are. You leave New Mexico, you go to Colorado, and honestly, there was a big missing of Latinos there. But as you go over there, you realize you can stay proud alongside them. Another thing I want to talk about was the life-changing scholarship that we had received there. $34,000 annually is a very big amount of money. It can change someone's life. And honestly, I'm interested in going to that college now. Thank you.
Thank you. Could we take a group photo with them? Yes? Okay.
Ready, ladies? Moving on to item 3B, parent communication, remind social media analytics.
President Lira, Mr. Carmona will present this item.
Thank you.
Hey, good afternoon, President Lita, members of the board, Superintendent Tarazona. I have great news. The Parent Square transition is well on its way. We have 11,111 students enrolled in the student portion of the Parent Square and attached to those parents. Our messaging, it's difficult to match it to the way that Remind reported the usage, but this is the way that the report comes out here. Next slide, please. We have experienced some hiccups, and you may have heard some parents are saying that they're unable to log in, and we have a very simple solution. So for those of you listening in, hopefully if you're experiencing any problems, you just have to visit your school's data clerk, and 99.9% of the time, the issue is that the email in our system is not the email that they're trying to sign in with. So we've been able to help many parents make sure that they're able to get logged in. We have a website on our main webpage called the Family Information Hub, where you can get information on Parent View as well as Parent Square. And they are two different things. Parent View is connected to our student information system, and Parent View and Parent Square is, of course, our communication system. And I want to thank Director Margie Bernholt for her help in making sure that these systems are talking to each other, and it's going very well. Next slide, please. And as you can see here, these are the number of direct messages. There's two different styles of messaging that are available with Parent Square. Similar to what we had with Remind, direct messages are very flexible. Staff, administrators, teachers can direct the message to one parent, one student, a combination of parents and students, and interact with them there. And then we also have a post, which is more similar to a Remind blast, where all members of that organization, whether it's the school or the district, get the message. And then next slide, please. And then looking at our social media, Facebook metrics, we dipped a bit in the month of August, but we've been very busy making sure that that Parent Square transition is successful. Next slide, please. This is a content highlight. I want to give props to federal programs. They've been working really hard out in the hot sun, and I get the easy job of advertising and amplifying their message, but we had a really good engagement with this pop-up food bank post that happened this week. And with that, I conclude my presentation.
Thank you, sir. And moving on to item 4, board member report. Board member Ms. Corina Medrano.
I'd like to welcome everyone back to this school year. I'm sure some of the schools still have a few glitches that they have to work through, but I know it's going to be a very successful year. I was in touch with a few IAs that are in SPED, and they were thrilled because they had a workshop, a work session, and I guess they had never been included, and they just felt very valued. So thank you to the SPED department for doing this, because you're addressing some of the people that are in the trenches, and they appreciate the recognition. And this year, I was on the opposite side of open house. Usually I'm the teacher waiting for the parents and the students to arrive, and I tried to get to all the schools in my district, but the way the schedule is set, there's no way parents can make it if they have 2 kids in school, 3 kids, maybe even 4, anyway, from pre-K to the high school. Maybe we can have a better system, get together with the high school and stagger them so that parents aren't running from one to the other, because there's no way they can make 2, like if one is at 4 and one is at 5, they can't make it. They can't make it. Maybe we can work on this for next year for parent-teacher conference or something else to make it more available for the parents to be able to attend all the open houses, because I was going crazy. So I can imagine them with kids. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Medrano. And moving on to our board members report from Ms. Priscilla Guerrero.
Good evening. I just want to, again, welcome everybody back to the school year. I wish everybody a successful school year, and just want to remind everybody and reiterate that we are here to be your voice. Reach out to us, tell us what you need so that, we can bring it back and be here to speak up. I am happy that I did actually have a student come and reach out to me. He called me and he's like, hey, Ms. Guerrero, I need help. Can you help me? And I was like, of course, I'd love to. And so it was just really nice to see him utilizing his voice. And I told him, get that out there to your friends. Tell them that that's what we're here for. We're here to represent you, our community members, and how we can support you and be your voice. So just a reminder for that, and I hope, good luck to all the teachers and administration for a very successful school year.
Thank you. Ms. Board Secretary Claudia Rodriguez.
Good evening, everyone. It seems like it's been forever since the last time that I was here. And I want to welcome, I wasn't here the first board meeting of the year, but I'm happy to be back. And one of the things that I did do was the grand opening of the Gadsden Middle School. And oh my goodness, that school is beautiful. It's just something that I don't think had been here, and we really, really needed that. So congratulations to everyone that is there. I know that they still need to adapt. I asked a kiddo and he said, I don't know, it's a little bit bland. And so, I thought, well, it's different. It's very clean. And so, yes, I think that it's going to take time for them to adapt, but it's a beautiful, beautiful building. And so, welcome everyone district-wide to the new school year. And let's see, the NHI and the Collegiate World Series. First of all, I think that we're happy to be a part of this, and we owe it a lot to a student, Ramon. I know that he pushed for that, for the National Hispanic Institute, and also for Gloria de Leon, which is with the National Hispanic Institute. And then because they attend that, they're able to attend the Collegiate World Series. And I've seen the benefit that it has. One of the kiddos mentioned about, or one of the students mentioned, 98%. I've seen, I'm happy to hear of one of the students that attended 2 years ago, and he is now in college, his first year, and he was doing an internship over in Dallas, and doing very well, and that's amazing. And it's because he had this opportunity of being part of the Collegiate World Series and the National Hispanic Institute here in Albuquerque. So I think that should continue, and of course with the support of Ms. Villalobos, Ms. Forti, and Ms. Mendoza, right? Everyone that has helped in this, and thank you to Mr. Villalobos. I know he's always very kind and always like behind the scenes. I know he doesn't like to be in front, but he does so many things for the students, and as it shows, right, he was one of the ones that attended with them. So thank you for that, and Ms. Legarreta for being also one of the ones that were there with the students, and anyone else that was part of this. Let's continue this because it is of great benefit, that the kids are able to participate in something different from what is within our state. And just a reminder that, now that we're back in session, Coffee with the Principals are back, and also with Ms. Tarazona. Important to attend those. If it's the campus, that's how you're going to be informed of what is happening within your students' campus. And Coffee with the Superintendent is where you bring any questions, any ideas, and Ms. Tarazona and her team are always there present to hear what is necessary, and also for us parents, we can become more informed. So let's do that, and let's have a great year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Nice having you back. Moving on to Ms. Board Vice President, Ms. Laura Salazar Flores.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us in person, and to those of you who are joining online, thank you so much. I'd like to first of all begin by thanking our Associate Superintendent, Ms. Rosa Villalobos, and ma'am, also to you, thank you so much for all you do for our kids through federal programs. That was a wonderful opportunity, and it's exciting to see the scholarships and the opportunities that our kids have. And for that one particular, I think it's at Bucknell University, that taking that trip has made him want to go to college. So that is awesome. Thank you so much. I also want to welcome everybody back. I hope you all had a good start to the year, and échenle ganas, and to our kids, do the best that you can, because that's the way you honor, first of all, your family, but also your teachers that teach you on a daily basis. So with that in mind, as we enter the season of BOY, do your best in those tests, right? I also want to remind the public, and I want to thank Superintendent Tarazona. You all, I think a day ago, you were advertising the Gadsden Listens, Gadsden Escucha. So thank you for the opportunity. To those of you who are listening online and in person, don't forget to fill out that survey. Our superintendent and her leadership team and this district wants to hear from you. And then I just want to conclude by wishing all of us a happy Wellness Month. If you didn't know that, it is the Wellness Month. It's important to prioritize your self-care. Self-care is, means not being selfish. It's not selfish to take care of yourself. And I would encourage all of us to build healthy habits for our mind and body. I've been doing that now for 3 months, and it makes a difference when you're taking care of yourself, physically, mentally, spiritually, eating right and exercising. It helps with the stress, guys, so I would recommend it. And you just got to do it, because you can come up with excuses, every day, but just make it a habit. So with that, I conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you, President. And we're going to go back right away with Ms. Claudia Rodriguez.
I just forgot to mention one thing, and I think it was a good segue with what Ms. Salazar was saying about the wellness. We have received this book, and it's called Great on Their Behalf. And this is for the board members. And so for our wellness, I think that it's perfect. I encourage every single one of you to read it. And it really helps us as board members to understand, many things that we sometimes forget that we're going to go through, and understanding how we can deal with that or cope with it and how to go about it. So yes, fellow board members, please take time to read this book. I know you're going to love it, and perhaps we could I want to ask Ms. Tarazona if we could have maybe like a book study day, so that we all, read a few chapters, talk about what we read, and then continue until we finish the whole book. So
Sure, we can have a quiz after every chapter, Ms. Rodriguez. When do you want to begin on chapter 1?
Thank you, that is it.
Thank you. That's a great idea, Ms. Rodriguez. Now, moving on, I do want to thank everyone for all of the work that you guys have been doing. I want to thank the staff for the administration for being available for a retreat. Even though there's been retreats before, I did push on it a little bit more, but because I do believe that where we have a synergy, and now I encourage my fellow board members and yourself to bring the ideas to really share what you guys think that would help us strive for a better district. So thank you for carving time out of your weekend and spending a weekend with us in Ruidoso. Hopefully that is very productive. And I know that once we're able to go ahead and get our vision aligned, us will be able to assist as much as we can to make sure that becomes a reality. So thank you for taking some time. And yes, throughout the summer, I've been actually working very close with Ms. Tarazona on different projects and different visions, and I'm able to see the bond that she's created with her team. So I want to thank you for that, Ms. Tarazona. And with that said, I think that you have laid a foundation for a very, very successful year. So let's keep at it. Thank you to everyone. That's it on my part. Moving on to item 5, Equity Council report.
There's no report at this time, just a friendly reminder that our next Equity Council meeting is set for Tuesday, August 25th, and it will be at North Valley Community Center, and it's scheduled for 9 a.m.
Thank you. Moving on to item 6, Superintendent report on community outreach, including underrepresented and non-English families.
There is no report this time, President Lira.
Thank you. Moving on to item 7, Union President report to board.
Ms. Nanez will present this item, Mr. Lira.
Good afternoon, President Lara, members of the board, Superintendent Tarazona. Welcome back. We've been back for, I think, 3 weeks, going on 3 weeks. It looks really good. But again, like I say, we take care of what the little issues or big issues that come up. I'll repeat it again. Anytime that an employee is pulled out of the classroom, the cafeteria, it impacts the students. So we need to work on how to minimize that effect. Second, we did have some concerns over the summer, and I thank Ms. Tarazona that they did get taken care of. And another thing that I think that is very important, and like I've always said, communication. Communication is key. And one of the things that maybe people don't understand is that when you're a supervisor, you have to lead. You have to communicate with your employees, whoever your crew. And I think that there are some people in this district that are in supervisory roles, but they don't have that skill. And I think the district needs to do a better job, that if they're going to put people in supervisory roles, they need to train them. They need to train them to be good leaders. And I think that if we do that, we would be in a much better place. Because, a principal, everybody knows, a principal knows their role. Ms. Tarazona knows her role. But there are people in the district, again, that have supervisory roles, and they may not know exactly what that entails. They were hired as supervisors. So I think the district needs to invest training, whatever resources, so they can be good leaders. And if we have good leaders and we have people that can communicate in those positions, I believe our issues and our concerns will decrease, will be minimal. And the impact in the classrooms and in other positions will also be minimal. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
Yes. So if I may, Superintendent, to address what you use, what are you doing, what is the district doing to address those concerns?
So I know Ms. Burciaga has been working with different departments, especially in the S&P area, to train our supervisors, employees. These are supervisors maybe of custodians, groundskeepers, janitors, to provide them with training, to provide them with maybe some type of a manual to make sure there's an agenda every time there's a meeting, so there's concrete outcomes. We are not where we need to be, Ms. Flores, but we're definitely starting that process of training people and having like an established protocol where there is some alignment and the expectations are actually put in writing. So when you leave that training or that meeting or the onboarding, you know what your expectations are as an employee. So I know Ms. Burciaga has been working really hard to train a lot of our supervisory roles. In her position with her department, it is the beginning, so it's going to take us a little while to get everybody trained and on board. And to really, like Ms. Nanya said, see what the role is. They're just not another employee. They have to really lead those employees and what good leadership it takes for employees to do a good job. And it starts with clear expectations, processes, procedures, and those need to be in writing. And that's something we're lacking, and we are working on that.
Okay. So I totally appreciate that. That is awesome to hear. I'm pretty sure they're also going to address like leading with empathy and, keeping the human resource like Ms. Estrella likes to mention. So thank you so much for all your hard work. Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you. Moving on to item 8, Human Resource Report. Human Resources Report is for public information only. Moving on to item 9, Modification of the Agenda. Do I have a motion?
President Lira, I'd like to make a motion to leave the agenda as is.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to item 10, the regular school board minutes for July 23rd, 2026. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
I thank you. Item 10, a motion carries. Moving on to item 11, the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Motion carries. Moving on to open forum. Ms. Delgado, do we have anyone for open forum?
Sir President, we do have open forum.
Thank you. Just a reminder, everyone, personal attack upon board members, staff, personnel, or other persons in attendance or absent by individuals who address the board are discouraged. Presenters are cautioned that statements or representations concerning others that convey an unjust, unfavorable impression may be subject to presenter to civil actions. Defamation policies CE, CEB, CEC, and CED are provided by the board for disposition of legitimate complaints, including those involving individuals. Can I have a Christian Varela? Thank you, sir, coming in.
Hola, buenas tardes. ¿Sí pueden escuchar?
Bueno, sí.
Muy buenas tardes, Board of Directory.
Si quieres, ¿te puedes acercar más al micrófono, por favor?
Sí. Muchas gracias por su tiempo. La razón que estoy aquí, quería ver si nos podrían tomar en consideración, porque tenemos un niño autista. Entonces, hemos notado que desde que empezó el año escolar, se hicieron muchos cambios sin avisarnos y no sé si estén familiarizados con los niños autistas, pero no son muy buenos con el cambio. Entonces, estamos aquí para ver si nos podían tomar en consideración que pues se pudieran seguir las reglas que el distrito pone, o bueno, no son reglas, son más consideraciones. Entonces, este cambio, o sea, tiene a mi niño ya sin comer, estresado, sin dormir. Entonces es muy difícil como papá, le digo, ver un progreso muy bueno y de repente volver a empezar de cero. Queríamos ver si, no es como queja, no estamos aquí para quejarnos, el distrito siempre nos ha apoyado, pero con tanto cambio ya no sabemos ni a quién dirigirnos. Hemos estado mandando correos para hacer juntas de IP, para que se nos tomen en consideración y pues no hemos tenido respuesta de nadie. Entonces estamos aquí pues molestando pues para que se nos tomen estas cosas en consideración, porque de hecho mi niño, no puedo hablar de los otros niños, pero de mi niño puedo decir que se está volviendo agresivo a sí mismo. O sea, ya se está dañando a él, estrés, no quiere ir a la escuela. Otra cosa que notamos con este cambio escolar es que al nuevo staff no está entrenado o sea, no están capacitados para cuidar a un niño con autismo. Recientemente en estos días mi niño ha tenido problemas de conducta, que sale corriendo, se pega, no come, pero el staff no nos ha podido ayudar en nada de eso. Entonces no sé cómo hacer approach a esto con ustedes y pedirles esa ayuda, porque es muy difícil explicarlo más vivirlo, o sea. Entonces, nos da mucho miedo como papás el que hemos estado tocando puertas y tratando de pedir ayuda y pues no se nos ha dado. Entonces, tenemos los correos, hemos hecho reach out a mucha gente, no hemos brincado a nadie, hemos tratado de seguir la jerarquía y no nos hacen caso. Me gustaría hacer un comentario, no siendo grosero, en mi primera junta. Está muy padre, de hecho. Me siento diputado, mira, vamos a hacer un cambio. No, está muy padre y no quiero ser grosero, pero recientemente hay mucho chisme. Aquí en Southern Park todos nos conocemos desde muy pequeños, y un chisme que me impactó, y lo digo como chisme, no sé si pasara o no pasara, pero nos comentaron que hoy un maestro que lastimó a un niño, lo movieron de escuela y lo volvió a lastimar a otro niño, que ahora que mi niño estuvo presente, y así como que digo, espérame, entonces, ¿qué está pasando? Digo, si teníamos un gran staff, una directora que estaba muy al pendiente, nos informaba de todos los cambios, nos tomaba en consideración, o sea, preparábamos a los staff, las clases eran seguras, y ahorita es así como que nos sentimos padres impotentes porque no podemos hacer nada. Entonces nuestros hijos están en sus manos, confiamos en el distrito porque siempre ha habido mucha comunicación y ahorita empezando este año escolar se nos cortó. Entonces, lo que muchas personas no entienden, al cuidar a un niño no verbal es muy difícil esta situación, es que mi niño me diga, sit down, shut up, y bien tristecito. Y así como que digo, oye, ¿por qué, mijo? O sea, y querer hablar con él se siente muy impotente. Entonces, le digo que sé esto porque tengo una base de datos muy extensa con las terapias de ABA. Entonces, el comportamiento lo tengo muy registrado. O sea, se llama como un pyramid chart o pyramid action, no sé, tiene un nombre muy curioso. Sí, la verdad, estoy aquí pues para que nos tomen en consideración. No sé con quién puedo hablar, no sé si alguien se nos puede acercar, responder los correos. Y de verdad, muchas gracias por el trabajo que han hecho y espero en Dios que nos puedan ayudar con esta situación y muchas gracias.
No, gracias a ti. ¿Alguien del staff de la superintendente te va a marcar en cuánto le marcan?
Ms. Barraza, Mr. Varela, Ms. Barraza will come up to you, get all your information. She's our area supervisor for this area, and we will take care of it.
Muchas gracias.
Vamos a resolver el problema.
Gracias.
Ándale, muchas gracias.
Muy buen día, gracias.
Ms. Soraya Borjas? Rosaí Borjas. Thank you.
Hi, today I'm to talk about the situation from Desert View 2 because of our students for the special education class, which is for the Desert View School. And I want to talk about the situations that have been happening since the beginning of the school year. Last year, the students were doing so perfect. I've seen advance with my son. I've seen a lot of difference with these kids, with their behaviors, and a lot of like other kids, meeting with their goals, with the aids that they had. Well, recently they got changed with aids. What I've been noticing is that they've been putting new aids to that classroom, and we already had like 4 different teachers leave from that classroom. We're trying to keep this teacher as much as we could because she's a really good teacher. The kids have learned a lot, and changing her or having her to leave for any incident that could happen there at that school, it's gonna affect the kids, especially because of their routines and because of the way of how they've been learning. I don't know if you could get the help to try to get their aids back again because they've been moving them to a classroom where there's less kids. And the new aids that we've been having, they presented it to us on the opening of the opening for the school year. And I saw new ones that I have not seen them, I haven't met them. They'd never send out a letter to let us know that there were gonna be new aids in the students' classroom. My son, he has not had no behavior since the beginning of the school year, but I've been noticing that there's been changes in the way of the fact when I pick him up when he gets off from the bus. I haven't seen him like that until now, and I'm just afraid that there could be something going on during the school year, during the school classroom time, and then when he gets home, he knows that I will give him the attention of what's going on, and I always observe him if there's anything different, if there's any behaviors. When I get nearby to him, or if we tell him, if he hears something from someone else, how he would react to see if there's anything different from it. Mm-hmm. But that's all. I'm just aware of our students there and our kids in the classroom for their behaviors, and plus because of the goals that they had met last year, instead of going up this school year, they're going to end up falling back, and I don't want them to be falling back.
Okay.
We had advanced a lot.
Well, thank you for your comments. Someone's going to get your information right now and share your concerns, and they'll be contacting you by tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the public comments. And moving on to item 13, action items. Moving on to action item 13A, Policy Advisory 277 JLCEC, Cardiac Emergency Response Plan, Automated External Defibrillators, second reading.
President Lila, Ms. Galarza will present this item.
Good afternoon, President Lita, members of the board, Superintendent Tarazona. I bring forward Policy Advisory 277 JLC-EC Cardiac Emergency Response Plan, Automated External Defibrillators for action. I stand for questions.
Questions or comments? Thank you. Do I have a motion for action item 13A?
I'd like to make a motion to accept action item 13A.
Thank you. There's a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 13B, district wellness policy.
President Lila, Associate Superintendent, Ms. Galarza will present this item.
President Lita, members of the board, Superintendent Tarazona, I come again. I bring forward now wellness policy for action. I stand for questions.
Thank you. Questions or comments? No? Do I have a motion for action item 13B?
I'm sorry, I do have a question.
Okay.
Will there be, I know it has to do with the wellness as well, but the SHAC, those meetings will be continuing, and I know that that's where you also present this?
Yes, ma'am. I will be presenting this in the SHAC meeting, and we'll be starting to schedule those as well.
Okay, so you don't have a schedule just yet?
Not at this moment.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Thank you. So do I have a motion for item B?
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item 13C, Desert Pride Academy, the removal of 7th and 8th grade levels to reflect current grade levels.
President Lita, Ms. Berholt will present this item.
Good evening, President Lita, members of the board, Superintendent Tarazona. We need to officially remove 7th and 8th grade to reflect on DPA. Since 2019, DPA has been a high school, and we've only serviced 9 through 12. We just need to do that as a formality so we can present to NMPED to remove those 2 grades so that it's not reported that we still have 7th and 8th grades. We need to submit that to the board approval officially to PED so that can get removed. I stand for questions.
Thank you. Questions or comments? No? Do I have a motion to accept item 13C?
I so move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
And moving on to item 13D, a resolution regarding the finalization of subdivision claim of exemption to complete disposition of property located at 2160 NM Highway 192, San Miguel, New Mexico, 88058.
President Lita, Associate Superintendent Ms. Cadena will present this item.
Good afternoon, President Lita, members of the board, Superintendent Tarazona. This has to do with the previous approved 1-acre sale to Alto de las Flores from the Gadsden Independent School District. We've been dealing with this for a while, and I apologize for that. Apparently, San Miguel, the property is it's made up of several parcels. We had to first get surveys, make sure that the parcels had deeds. Some property was deeded to us in 1912. There was a problem finding that deed. But all in all, we have resolved the claim of exemption. We're very near to being able to close, but we do need this last resolution to allow President Lita to sign a second quitclaim deed. We have a quitclaim deed that is required, of course, deeding the land over to Alto de las Flores, but apparently the county, Doñana County, is one of the few counties that requires the remaining land to be deeded back to the owner. So that's what this second quitclaim deed is. It is to deed the remaining land that we're not selling back to Gadsden Independent School District. That is it. I stand for any questions.
Questions or comments? No. Thank you. Do I have a motion for item 13D?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Ms. Cadena.
Thank you.
And moving on to discussion items, 14A, post-issuance compliance report for the GO bonds.
President Lita, Ms. Martinez, our Chief Financial Officer, will present this item.
Good afternoon, President Lita, members of the board, Superintendent Tarazona. Today, I bring for discussion the post-issuance compliance report, which is a checkup on our bonds. It helps ensure that we are using our bonds as intended and meeting all reporting requirements and are following the rules that apply to the life of the bonds. And so if we click on the report, and if you scroll to the bottom, on this report, what you see is you have our outstanding principal debt, and it's $23.3 million. I don't know if you can see that there. Okay, and then the two columns to the left show our annual disclosures when they were filed. So you can see that the latest annual disclosures were filed in March of 2026, and our next annual disclosures will be filed on March of 2027. And so our annual disclosure is basically any time a school district borrows money through the issuance of bonds, we are obligated to continue to keep our investors informed of any financial information that is relevant. And so this is just to show that we have done this, we are in compliance. Some of the requirements or things that we share with them are our financial statements, and then we post any notice of events that could potentially impact the district's ability to repay their funds. Do you have any questions?
Questions or comments? No? Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Udine. Moving on to item 14B, 100-day entry plan.
So, President Lita, I want to present today to the board our 100-day entry plan. So this is part of our community engagement plan to provide an approach from myself and the leadership team to really listen. If we can go to the next slide. As you are aware, as Ms. Flores pointed, we have sent out 4 different surveys this week to 4 different stakeholders. We have a family and community engagement survey. We are servicing our students in grades 3rd through 12th grade. We also have a staff survey and a leadership survey. The surveys opened on Tuesday, the 11th, and they will be open until Sunday, the 23rd. And really the goal is to listen as we are coming on as a new team, to listen, to learn, to build relationships with our stakeholders, and to create opportunities to strengthen GISD. So the plan is grounded heavily on equity and staying aligned with our strategic plan that we created with our board this last summer. Next slide. So again, it's a plan where we're going to start building relationships with students, families, staff, the Board of Education, community partners. I think our upcoming leadership retreat is a great way for the board and the leadership team to align our vision, our goals, and really our outcomes. So what is going to create a successful outcome to all of us? We needed to integrate all of our stakeholders to listen, to have listening sessions. We will be launching those at the end of this month, having community forums such as our Equity Council, focus groups, our Coffee with the Superintendent, our leadership meetings, to kind of just listen to the community. And the goal is, of course, to ensure that our strategic plan and our strategic goals align with our district goals. So we're using all of this information. Once we have the results from the survey, we're conducting our community listening sessions. I believe it's August, September, and October. Then we would gather that feedback Those surveys are available, of course, in English and Spanish, and we will review our student achievement, our current goals, and see if there's anything that needs to be tweaked or changed in our strategic plan. Those should be living documents, not a document that we create one time and it never changes. I think those are going to be tweaked as soon as we get some feedback from the community and from all of our stakeholders. Also to straighten our communication through regular updates and just to be transparent and get ongoing engagement support from our stakeholders. So once we finish that, we transition from listening to really developing our action plan that really unites our strategic plan with our community goals and where we go from here. Next slide. So our guiding principles is our strategic plan really reflects every student, every opportunity, every day. If you heard the NHI presentation, it was all about providing access. So what did those students have that other students didn't have? One word, access. So we are really excited to continue to provide those opportunities and continue to work with our students. So we are going to focus on, of course, student success, high quality instruction in every classroom. As you know, we are high reliability schools. We focus on the Tier 1 instruction, and part of our strategic plan is to strengthen that Layer 2 instruction. Equity and opportunity for all students. As you know, we are looking at our dual language, our bilingual programs, our special education, our gifted identification as part of our strategic plan. And supporting the whole child, which we count a lot on Rosie Villalobos and her team, Ms. Forte, to really provide those SEL and part of that MLSS in order for us to ensure that kids are safe. Safety and well-being are essential also. We have created our incident management team to just ensure that everybody is secure at schools and that there's procedures and protocols that we all follow. And then, of course, that collaboration between the leadership team and the board, I think, are going to be crucial in achieving all these goals. Next slide. So expanding on this equity, so equity is really at the heart of our work. We really believe that every student, every culture, every language background deserves high quality education, rigorous learning, and that we need to support them to thrive. We will remove the barriers. Sometimes they're not even barriers, they're assets, but we tend to look at them as barriers, and they're not. So by listening to our community and ensuring that we do have that equitable access, data for equity, that we are being culturally responsive and inclusive in both of our special education programs, our bilingual programs, or just to all students, period. And removing those opportunities and barriers and providing opportunities for access. I think that is the big goal, and I keep on hearing that as I listen to students. And then just having those high expectations for every student that comes to Gadsden to achieve. I had a meeting with Mr. Pacheco yesterday and the Charitable Foundation, and one of the things that they were like, well, sometimes big companies don't want to move to this area because our data in New Mexico is 49. I said, wait, hold on, but not Gadsden. If you take Gadsden out of that New Mexico pile, our data is not that. So it really took some explaining. They were like, really? I'm like, yeah, we have so many spotlight schools. We're about to be recognized here, there. And they were really impressed, but I think that's information that we have not done a good job of broadcasting or sharing with our community. So we just have this, okay, New Mexico's 49, and everybody in New Mexico is that way, and we all know here as former educators, 2 people in the education trenches right now, 3, that is not the case here. And then next slide, of course, we are working very hard to straighten our special education. As you can see, special education is a challenge. We are dealing with an influx of students with special needs, and we need to be able to address those needs. We have been talking with Chief Hernandez, and I want to thank Mr. Hernandez for taking that initiative of leading that department, providing those autistic trainings for teachers, IAs, principals, because some of us are not trained in that area. So if we're not trained in that area, we are limited in the amount of support that we can provide the students and the teachers, and that's the reality of the situation. So I know Ms. Hernandez is working really hard with her team to provide those opportunities. Every student receiving services should have a great education, and they should be held to the same rigor of the standard and to their IEP goals. We need to make data-informed decisions, so based on our data, and we need to make sure that we have that inclusivity and that access and really provide students what they need in those classrooms. And it's different than what other students need. Family and community partnerships, we do have a lot of partnerships. Ms. Rosie does a very great job with partnering with many community members to support our schools and to provide our kids everything they need. So when they come in, they're ready to learn. High quality professionals, staff, and professional learning. So we are starting to train other groups like Ms. Medrano mentioned, some of the IAs, and providing them with some of that training that maybe they weren't provided before, but we realize the importance of having everybody in that classroom trained. And then just equity, access, and opportunity. Next slide. So our entry plans, right now we're phase 1, preparation and research. So we're building background, gathering information. Our first community listening session is set for August 31st in the Santa Teresa area. September, we will be moving to the Gadsden area. And then in October, we will be moving to the Chaparral area. So stakeholder engagement, trying to get our stakeholders involved through platforms like our Equity Council, which has been really successful, developing an initial strategic framework, gathering that feedback, and then seeing where we need to refine our plan for a strategic plan. I really don't think these are documents that we write once every 3 years and they stay like that. They need to refine as systems change, and as we make progress here or something is not making the progress. So we need to stop thinking of it as this document is written for the next 3 years. No, we need to make sure that we keep on modifying it and adjusting it to meet our needs. So some of our reflections or what we hope to get out of the survey is really like, what should GISD stop doing? What should GISD start doing? And what should GISD continue doing? As we know, we have a strong academic foundation in GISD. So we really don't just want to come in and revamp everything. We want to tweak what's working and expand on it, and then kind of work on what really needs to be worked on. But if it's already working for us, how do we make that better? So layer 1 instruction, we're solid. Now it's layer 2. So making those modifications. Next slide. And right here we just have the three E-plan, and the first phase is engagement. So we will hope to have that done in the first 6 months, and really just work with all of our leaders and all of our stakeholders to make better informed decisions at our level. And then evaluation, so what do we see that is working? What do we see that's not working? Let's not let it not work for a long period of time. That's where those adjustments need to come in. So these documents have to continue to evolve. And then the empowerment is making sure that families and staff feel empowered and are able to work together to create the best learning opportunities for our children. Next slide. So here's the engagement plan, and right here we have like our principal meetings, our assessment data, coffee with the superintendent, support trenches, district student leadership. Again, this is our community listening sessions. The first one is August 31st, and that is going to be in the Santa Teresa area, probably Santa Teresa High School. And then in September, we will be moving to the Gadsden area, the Gadsden High School. October, the Chaparral area, Chaparral High School. We still need to add to, this is again an ongoing document, all of our Equity Council meetings. We do want to form something else, more of a, if for you, those of you that have been to Equity Council, not just like a community session, but more of a session where we engage more with the people, because I think it's more productive than just having a session where I speak and everybody listens. I think a roundtable kind of thing. So Ms. Villalobos and I are working on those ideas right now. And then the next slide. So phase two again, our evaluation process, how is our SPED restructuring coming about? What do we see as making changes? What kind of quantitative data and stories are we looking at? Are our goals still in place? Do we have a comprehensive understanding of what is working in GISD and what needs to be enhanced? So next slide. And then the last one would be our empowerment phase. So really working, establish a positive culture and of support and trust in GISD that drives the focus on high expectations for equitable and positive outcomes for every student. So this is, again, our plan. We will have this posted under the superintendent's corner in our webpage. I will give that to Mr. Carmona to post as we add some of our other dates and meeting, but it will be a changing document. And with that, I stand for any questions.
Questions or comments?
President Lira, just as a comment, thank you for this opportunity, and I want to encourage everyone to please participate in this survey because that's how changes occur. Sometimes we're afraid to speak, but it's better to do that before everything is settled and then we complain because, I wish they could have done this. Well, bring that information, bring those ideas so that can be implemented. And if it's not implemented immediately, at least that seed has been planted and then they can work on this, right? So it's a great opportunity. Thank you for giving all of this information. And we know that this is enforced and it's happening. But in order to get this going, once again, that survey is open. You said it was from the 11th, and it's going to be up until the 23rd?
Yes, ma'am.
So there's plenty of opportunity to please give your input. And yes, we need to hear everything, right? The good, the not so good, and the things that are working for you so that they can continue. So again, I encourage everyone to participate.
Questions? No?
I also want to add, Mr. Lira, I'm sorry to cut you off, that we did do a different type of survey due to some of the issues we've had in the past. We've actually launched a Survey Monkey this time. This has no tie to I know one concern was our Google email being tied to it. So it is Survey Monkey. It is completely anonymous. You don't need any login, and we really don't know who you are. So feel free to be as open as you want to be, and I hope you are because that gives us that gives our leadership team a true picture of what the feeling is so we can work on it.
Thank you, Ms. Tarazona. And just to add to that, I do think that this is a very ambitious plan, and you did say it in the beginning of your presentation. And these are the things that when we speak, you and I, that I tell you that they're transformational. Things like this is what's going to go ahead and separate us from the other districts, and it's what's going to start getting that enrollment back up. Once you're able to actually see what's working and what's not, we can go ahead and make those informed decisions. With that said, after this is done, how do you plan on gauging it, or how do you plan on gauging our improvement from where we're at to where we're gonna go ahead and be? And after that's done, maybe it's a premeditated question, but what's a timeline that you could say, you know what, maybe within the first year or 2 years, this will be implemented and we're gonna have a revamped district?
So I think that this plan, Mr. Lira, is definitely like this first year is a lot of the listening, making sure that we have our strategic plan is set to meet the needs of all stakeholders, that we adjust and we tweak. So by the end of the year, we should really have a refinement. I think that one way to gauge how effective our plan is of course our academic data, how our EL population is performing, how our special education students are performing. Our graduation data is another predictor. Our number of spotlight schools, do we have many spotlight schools? Do we have schools in designations? Who's being recognized? As you know, right now we don't have anybody in designation. We have high graduation rates. So really it's building a platform so we don't get stagnant in order for this growth to continue. So by the end of year one, we should be able to have the refinement of all the plan and our strategic goals that we have. Of course, it's academic achievement, special education, dual language, gifted, or incident management team. and our bilingual dual language expansion, and really looking at that goal and then setting our outcomes of our percent growth, or what number of percent growth do we see. Like in math, our goal is to grow by 7%. So if we're already there by the end of the year, that would need to be adjusted. But the goal is definitely to keep moving forward. Because if we just say we're great and we stay there, we're not going to move. So that's part of the problem. So we need to make sure that we continue to do that. So definitely providing more access is one of the things that I would like to do for our students. As you heard our students presenting today for the NHI, we need to be able to bring more of those opportunities to our high schoolers, so they have a better chance in the job market, college bound. We did meet yesterday with that Jerry Pacheco and the Charitable Foundation, and MSU was there. They're talking about bringing a college readiness program. So we're actually going to talk to them. We also talked to DACC, and I am skipping her name right now, DACC Chancellor, and we're actually going to meet next week. They're opening a new facility, so how can they integrate Gadsden into their plans so they're just not isolated plans? So the community is really working for the better of the community with the many organizations that are affected.
Thank
President
you.
Lira, I would like to see that, since this is a work in progress, right, and it's going to be constantly moving, perhaps bringing that information, I know that it's going to be posted, but bringing perhaps quarterly where it's standing. Yes,
Yeah.
a report
I
of
had it.
where we're standing, what we're working on, and how it's looking. That would be something that would, I think, benefit the public, so that we can see that, and the board and everyone that's a part of this, to see where, that this is being effective, or if it's not, what do we need to do?
Yeah, I agree. I would like a bird's eye view report, just at least a glance of where it's at and what are the updates.
So Secretary Rodriguez, so we can do kind of something that we did with the strategic plan in the past, maybe look at our strategic plan, review the strategic plan quarterly, review the entry plan, and then review the tweaks and changes, and actually what has happened that is listed in this 100-day plan. This happened, this happened, this happened. This is where we're at. This is the feedback from the surveys, all of that. We can definitely review quarterly, and then really, because that helps the board set the direction that the district needs to go in. So we can definitely do that.
President Lira,
Thank you. Yes.
if I may.
Yes, Ms. Flores.
It's actually, I appreciate your comment, which is what we call return of investment. I would encourage, as Superintendent Tarazona, for us to, and actually I'm going to, Claudia knows this very well. So this guy actually was a guest speaker at one of our conferences in Santa Fe or Albuquerque. And so one of the things that he really struck me and Ms. Rodriguez is the importance of continuously looking at data. And so I think we're ready for that as a board. So we got to do that so that we're not just, talking compliance talk, and, we've got to see what's happening. So I would encourage us that, I don't know how often though, but he almost said like every board meeting, he said, we have to talk about data or discuss it. So just something to think about. Thank you, ma'am.
And you're referring to academic data, correct? Academic data?
Well, see, academic data, but then also, cell data, because that's also important.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think with your 100 days and all of the with the live document that you're going to be having, we can expand where we should be able to gauge. It's kind of like a dashboard of the whole district, where the how healthy it is, and you're able. I think maybe we present some snippets of where the whole overall health of the district is, or what are our wins and what are our losses, and that way where us as a board can go ahead and know where we're headed. And this should actually help us identify mismanagement, or if we're going the wrong direction, we can go ahead and steer to the correct way faster, rather than months ahead and be like, hey, you know what, this should have been fixed when we already had the data that you had collected. I think so.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
President
Lira.
Lira.
We can do that.
I'm sorry, President Lira, along with that, I think that having information that is true, right, and all those obstacles that we encounter, we need to hear them too, because it's great. We always hear all the great things that are happening, and it's amazing, right? We know Gadsden is doing very many great things, but in that report, what kind of things have we have been challenges, hurdles that we have had to work on, and how they have been managed. I think it's important for the community to know. All the stakeholders need to know that, not everything is just beautiful, right? I mean, there is things that do happen, but how are we working those?
But nevertheless, this is a very ambitious plan, and I know that you're going to do it. I will share something I was speaking to Ms. Flores once, and maybe she doesn't recall, but we were talking about Ms. Tarazona, and I'm like, I just don't think that she's transformational, and I think this is it. This is transformational. So, and she said, no, she is. She's transformational.
Thank you, Mr. Lira.
So just for the record.
I always believed in you.
Thank you, Ms. Flores. Thank you.
Like, no, I don't think so. Like, there's something missing, but I think this is going to be it.
Oh, and we'll take your feedback. And again, I'm really excited, and I think my leadership team is really excited about spending this time with you and just building a positive working relationship with aligned vision and goals, and being able to hear communication, like Ms. Nanya said, communication, being able to hear everybody's point of view. We may not agree all the time, and that's okay, but how do we work together to create that happy medium? At the end of the day, it's not for us, for any of us, so the goal has to be student outcomes, and how are our students doing in our district, period.
Thank you, Superintendent Tarazona. Any more questions? No? Thank you. Moving on to item 14C, the first meeting review of the proposed revision to Board Policy CBI evaluation of the superintendent. And that is my item. Yes, so we've been working with Superintendent Tarazona and myself have been working with Elena Gallegos because this is an issue that's been way farther than us. We've, as a Gadsden board for the past more than 10 years, no board has ever been able to actually have evaluations for the superintendent on time. They always fall behind, and we've fallen behind. Even since I started, it's one thing or the other, and we're always not compliant on this issue. Just to go ahead and share a little bit, we had to do an evaluation on superintendent when she was an intern, and now she was due for the other one. The language for that, for the policy that we had, it was very redundant with a tool that we actually had with a tool that we had formerly, and the one we adopted this past 2025. On 2025, the one that we adopted. So with the help of Elena, she streamlined the language just to go ahead and have like on the beginning of the year and on the end of the year to have the evaluations. And she does believe, well, she believed that it was too complex a one that we had, and now with a streamlined policy, we believe that this is going to go ahead and get us into compliance faster now that we have a tool that we've adopted recently, and with a change of this document, we can go ahead and first have a more organized calendar and more efficient. I stand for questions.
President Lira.
Yes, ma'am.
No question. I think that we do need to analyze it. I mean, this is a discussion, so it's good that it's here. And I think that it's something that we'll be able, once we get this organized, we'll be able to stay on track, right? I mean, that's the outcome that we want out of this. So yes, thank you for taking the time to do that, because it's been a challenge, like you said. So let's work on it.
I have a question, President Lira. Since there's technically three of you, have you been through the evaluation with our prior superintendent where Elena sat on it? You have, Brother?
Yes.
Okay, so then they haven't. So I guess my question to us all, do we want to continue that practice at least one more time, since that they weren't here, or are we going to do it without Elena's help?
Well, we have, right now, we do have two evaluations, the one that she's due, plus we still have to go back and do the one for the interim. So, I mean, it's up to you guys. I mean, to be honest, I'm open to it. I do think that if they want to go ahead and go through it on when are we due on your interim? What is the date? Because if it does have to happen fast. That way we can adopt this and we can just go ahead and do the evaluations and we're done. And then we would have the other one till next year.
So I believe that it would be something that would be done in the closed session today, and it would be a possible approval of end-of-year evaluation for 2025-2026 of superintendent as interim, completed in executive session. I do not think we have Ms. Gallegos scheduled, Mr. Lira, but if you would want me to get her scheduled for next session, or if you want
That's what I'm saying, yeah, we can go ahead and finish the interim, and then we can schedule her for the next one.
Okay.
Does that work?
So I'm going to say that I would say yes, because that way they can experience what it is to work with Ms. Elena, and then be ready to do it on our own from then. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah, or the next one, which would be the following year, because we would be current after this one. Thank you, yes.
Okay.
Any more questions? No? Moving on to item D, Policy Advisory 275, GCIA, Teacher Residency Program.
President Lira, Ms. Associate Superintendent Burciaga will present this item.
Good evening, President Lira, members of the board, Superintendent Tarazona. I'm here to discuss Advisory 275. It's in regard to the teacher residency program. These are student teachers from our surrounding universities. And if we look at the current advisory, you'll see that most of that policy is scratched out. Well, I want to tell you that we do not have a current policy on teacher residency. And I believe that that is the good decision, to continue to not have a policy on this teacher residency. As you see, it's something that consistently changes. It's dependent on federal funding. And ultimately, what they have done here is left it up to the discretion of the district. So I want to put a disclaimer in saying that there is state statute written, and we follow that to a T. And I think that is enough guidance for us to have within the district. So my recommendation is to not adopt a policy in regard to teacher residency. Any questions?
Questions or comments? No? Ms. Estrella, thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 14E, Policy Advisory 276, JICH, Use of Cell Phones and Electronic Devices in Schools. First reading.
President Lira, Ms. Hernandez will present this item.
Good afternoon, President Lira, members of the board, and Superintendent Tarazona. I am coming before you for Policy Advisory 276 JICJ, the use of cell phones and electronic devices in schools. And it says first reading, but I do want to address that this policy was brought to discussion August 25th of 2025. We never took action on it, so I would like for us to review this again. So this first piece is the old policy that we had. This is not the correct one, right? Yes, the board. So one of the things that this policy, that the PED is asking us, is to replace this policy completely with alternative 1 or alternative 2. In the past, I'll go over just some of the pieces that NMSBA changed. So SB 11 became Chapter 155. There is a difference with what SB 11 requires as to what the PED is recommending. If you notice in the old policy, we still talk about pagers I remember having a pager in 1985, I don't remember. But anyway, so this policy is to be replaced. And so we're not going to use it at all. So I just wanted you to see it. And it's about 3 pages long. It talks about definitions, prohibitions. It also speaks about investigations, confidentiality, sanctions, and publication. So just for referral, this policy will be eliminated. The PED has asked us to pick alternative 1 or alternative 2. Now, the biggest difference is what we need to adopt either alternative 1 or alternative 2. What the policies do is they restrict devices during instructional hours. Alternative 1 provides the principals the opportunity for them to define the communication device rule based on our district general piece. Alternative 2 is very restricted. The board prohibits the use of devices during instructional hours, right? And so there is the exemptions in the way that a principal may, so if you pick alternative 2, Ms. Flores, you are, for example, a teacher who wants to use the device to do Kahoots. That teacher would have to request permission from the principal, and then the principal would bring it to the superintendent, right? And so that's just one digital piece. Now, it does contradict kind of the AI policies, right? Because our instructional materials carry AI pieces. Our students use the things that are exempt are example IEP, 504 accommodations if students have devices, things like that, of course, because that's for instruction and it's part of our federal law. So at this time, I don't want you to read the whole thing, so I've summarized it for you. And I think what we need to know is that the PED does not want us to ban all phones because they know that we could use them. It would just limit it to instruction, and it provides like a stricter policy so students just don't have their phones out to have them out. It would only be used during instruction with the principal allowing it or the teacher, right? And so what I wanted to do is they have specific protections for medical plans, for IEPs, for 504s, emergencies, and one of the things it's requiring is district that we promote digital citizenship, and so we could do that through our librarians because they're becoming media literacy specialists. But we also have to post the policy on the website, and we have to address like non-instructional hours, right? And then as we work on our discipline matrix, we already have some of these pieces, like what would happen if a student pulled their phone? What would happen if they're just trying to play while the teacher is teaching? So I'm going to, again, recommend that it'll be alternative 1, so that the school principal, along with the superintendent's approval, is able to, in compliance with board policy, because it would still be a general piece, but it allows campuses like high school kids, do we want them to use their phones at lunch? You don't want elementary kids with phones because if they get lost or broken. And so if you look, the beginning of each one, I'll just read the beginning. Alternative 1, school principals with the approval of the superintendent and in compliance with board policy and administrative regulations shall make the rules regarding a student use of wireless communication devices during instructional hours. Alternative 2 is the board prohibits the use of wireless communication devices by students during instructional hours and class time. So it is restrictive, and the campus will still allow it, but only with permission from the superintendent. So every piece of device that they would use, like if they're using iPads to do something or their phones to do surveys or things like that high schools use, that every time that they're going to use that device, the superintendent would need to approve that piece. So I stand for questions.
Questions or comments?
I do want to add that this policy was brought to you August 28, 2025 for discussion, and the board did adopt alternative 1. It just never went to action.
So that's gonna we're gonna see it back just to adopt it formally.
Yes, sir.
I'll come back for action. It's just for discussion. If you all have any questions, you do have a copy of the actual policies. I didn't want to read through all of them because it's pretty much saying one is very restrictive, but it isn't, but it would go through a lot of hurdles. And then the next one would be the campuses would be allowed to do what they need to do, but with the board's policy, the board's supervision also, knowing
Ms.
that.
Hernandez, just a quick question. Can you give me like a recap of what high schools are doing right now? Do they follow the same protocol? Or do you have some maybe at Santa Teresa that has a policy, and then Gadsden has another one, and then parents and kids are going back and forth?
President Lira, actually that is happening. You can walk into a classroom depending, and the teacher is super strict. The phones are in little things in pockets, and then you walk into the next class and students are in groups and their phones are out and they're watching TikTok, or they're even recording themselves, right? We've seen that on our Snapchats or whatever. And so I think this would align us more with having a consistency across the district, because if you see the old policy, it's very general, and so it doesn't really adapt to today. It's like I tell you, it's like talking about pagers, it's talking about if they're caught doing something, it depends on the teacher, like what are the rules, right? And so right now our secondaries are also working on a discipline matrix, so we're aligned, because to your point, Mr. Lira, we still have some misalignment in even the way we present discipline. Right? And so we're trying to make sure that's aligned. It's something we'll work on this year, because we found in our first meeting right before school started that we had the campuses doing different things. For like one fight, it would be 3-day suspension. Over here, it's almost immediately to DPA. So things like that. And so we're trying to, with our plan, is trying to align a lot of these pieces. So no, there's no consistency across the district at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez. Thank you, Ms. Hernandez.
President Lira, just a question. Since you mentioned discipline matrix, is the discipline matrix uniform through elementary, middle school, high school, or are you doing separate ones?
We're doing the secondaries first, because that seems where we have the most, I don't want to say the harder issues, but to what I was saying earlier, when do we call the police? If it's just a fight, do we always call the police? Do kids always get a class 3 citation? It depends on the circumstance. So there's just a lot of discrepancies across the campuses. And so first we want to work on secondary.
So then the answer is yes, you're going to have two separate ones. Awesome, thank you.
And I just want to add that we are integrating, like with our TED Talkers, a lot of AI, Mr. Lira. So we do Magic School Bus, we have Steel Truck, we have a lot of programs, text-to-speech, translation for ELs as part of our Flashlight Enjoy School. Like your phone actually does all of that, and some of our kids are using it. So it's also an educational tool. A lot of the AI really levels the playing field for some of our learners.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez.
I'll come back for action next.
So moving on to item F, 1014F, Policy Advisory 278, JLF, Reporting Child Abuse, Child Protection, first reading.
President Lira, Associate Superintendent of Federal Programs, Ms. Villalobos.
President Lira, members of the board, Superintendent Tarazona. I bring it to you the Advisory 278, Reporting Child Abuse and Child Protection. What you can have and see there is the recommendation from the New Mexico School Boards Association. What is different from what we have in our policies? The main difference that we have here is they're asking all school district employees, all personnel, school volunteers, contractors, and contractors' employees. So the big difference here is, like, we have been doing this training for all staff in the district through Vector. Every year, all of us do it. But we have never requested this from volunteers, contractors, and contractors' employees. This is the thing that is changing right now for us. And that's the recommendation, is like to go for these changes. One other thing they are requesting is that the training has to be conducted by somebody that is approved by New Mexico PED. Vector is an approved provider, and that's we have been following, and we all have been in compliance. Every year, all of us in the district follow this and do the Vector trainings. Now the thing is how we're going to do it with the volunteers. So we had this conversation already this week on the executive cabinet. We came with a very good plan with Ms. Burciaga, with Ms. Cadena. We all decided how we can do this, Ms. Martinez, so that we can do it like volunteers when they come and get their records and everything, the background checks and everything. So we're going to have Ms. Burciaga is going to start being very creative on her limited space that she has over there in her hall. She's going to make a space now for the volunteers and the employees when they do the background checks, so that they can have to sit down and do the whole training and everything, so that we ensure that we can provide this change. So that's what is changing on this advisory 278, the requirement of who's going to have to do it. There has to be approved by PED. And anything else, everything is like the same information that we have, because it's, again, the same thing. Everybody is obligated to report. And those are the changes on this advisory. Any questions?
Questions? Thank you.
So we can bring it to action and we can
Yes.
update. Yes.
There is a question.
No,
There
it's
is-
not a question, but I think the training is so important because
Yes.
before there was no training, and having to report this to the authorities was one of the hardest things a teacher ever has to do.
Yes.
And so with maybe this training, it'll help,
Yes.
but it's a very difficult decision.
It's very hard. Yes, I know we all been in the classroom and we have lived in it, and it's hard, but it's so important. We need to take care of our kids. And we have to say in the report it. And the vector trainings are actually really good. And so it's great that now we're going to have our volunteers and all the contractors, employers. I know this is going to be kind of like a headache a little bit for Ms. Cadena, because it's going to be hard, but we're going to ensure that we're going to do that for everybody.
Thank you. Now, moving on to item 15, upcoming board meetings and events. Do you guys have any discussions or questions regarding the events that we have? We do have our board leadership workshop, which will be Saturday, August 29th. I would encourage you ladies to send your ideas to Ms. Tarazona of what let's just put all of our ideas, our dreams, and try to share it with her. That way, whenever the agenda is prepared, we can go ahead and block some time and discuss whatever ideas you may have regarding the workshop. With that said, moving on to the item 16, board follow-up request of the superintendent.
So we have a few, President Lita. Board member report, work on open house schedules to ensure parents are able to attend all open house PTC and when they have multiple students. We did talk about that with the academic service team, Ms. Medrano, as we saw an issue with some of the school's hours, maybe not being too flexible for parents that work. So we are addressing that. We actually are probably going to dictate those hours, an amount of hours, because we cannot have open house from 2 to 4. But so we did pinpoint that. Ms. Rodriguez, a request for a book study day. So we would need to come up maybe with a day that is convenient, or that you guys would want to meet here, or even online. We could do like an online meet and talk about the chapters and kind of bounce ideas off of each other. The third one, a quarterly report of progress on the 100-day plan, report of where we're standing, maybe what has happened that will help you see how the plan is carried out, what are we working on, and to see what's being effective and maybe what is not being as effective and what needs to be tweaked. And then the fourth one, we're ready to look at data. We will have that coming up shortly, Ms. Flores. And I would encourage us to look at different type of data, not just academic data. I know when we look at a lot of Rosie's SEL, counseling, a lot of that data is presented, so we will definitely continue to work on that. The district data dashboard to report on health of the district, snippets of data. So how are we doing? Our wellness initiatives. I know Ms. Burciaga has 2 wellness days. We provided that feedback before to you guys, so continue to work on that. And then a schedule, Elena Gallegos, our attorney, to facilitate the superintendent evaluation, maybe for the upcoming year at the next closed session. Is that correct? Okay, thank you, Mr. Lira.
Also, President Lita, no, I just wanted to bring up with our open forum today. Do we have an update on, I know we were doing the SPED family advisory group that we were doing. Do we have an update on that? I know with some of the changes that were made, if it's gonna be different, what we're gonna do with that, and how we can facilitate that to continue.
So we do want to change it. We want to change it to be more of an equity council, and I don't know if you've been to an equity council meeting, but more of an open table I know Ms. Rodriguez has been there, Ms. Flores has been there in the past, Ms. Medrano's there, but it's really engaging, and it's really a time where parents can be open and you could just have a conversation. It sets up a different dynamic between you and the parent, and it really creates a relationship. So when that parent does call one of us, they're more open and more, it just opens that partnership. So I can have the SPED, if we can add that to our request, to give you an update on the SPED Advisory Committee and maybe the dates for the year and everything, kind of like what you're seeing for Equity Council, correct, Ms. Guerrero?
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 17, closed session. Regarding closed session, item A, limited personal matters as permitted under section 10-15-H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, specifically for the board to discuss and prepare the end-of-year evaluation of the superintendent as evaluation 25-26 of the superintendent as interim. Ms. Delgado, can you have a roll call, please?
Board President Lira?
Yes.
Board Vice President Flores?
Yes.
Board Secretary Rodriguez?
Yes.
Board Member Guerrero?
Yes.
Board Member Medrano?
Yes.
Thank you. We're in closed session. What do I have? A motion?
President Lira, I'd like to make a motion that we move into closed session. I don't think I'm on, but.
Oh, I would like to go. Session? Oh, he turned them off.
Can we turn our mics back on, Mr. Mr. Carmona? Can we get our mics back on? We need to make a motion.
Test there. I would like get up.
President Lira, I'd like to make a motion that we move into closed session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're in closed session at 6:41. Este es el mío. So, item 18, open session. Can I go ahead and have a motion to come out of closed session?
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we're out of closed session at 8:44. Okay, so moving on to item 19, action item, possible approval of the end-of-year evaluation of the superintendent as interim in the completed executive session. The board did finalize the interim superintendent end-of-year evaluation, and it was approved. All right, okay, so yeah, motion to approve. So then, can I? Do I have a motion to approve the? Do I have a motion to approve the end of year evaluation of the superintendent as interim has completed in the executive session?
I so move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And item 20, adjourn. Do I have a motion?
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Meeting adjourned at 8:46.
I'll send you my book report.
I'm giving you a quiz. What do you mean your book report? You could chat GPT that.
Bye. We'll see you.